Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off, the podcast where three Salt Lake City-based critics fight it out about film. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Boys, it's very good to see you.
Always.
It's
Good
been a
seeing you
little
too.
while because I'm in the middle of my music festival that keeps me really busy during the summer months. But I do have to say that time and Hollywood march on with or without me. And I can tell you that no less than 2 times since you heard us last, cinema has been saved.
At least twice, yeah.
And both by these movies.
And these are the 2 movies that are being credited with that salvation.
One way more than the other now.
Right. We're going to talk first about Twisters, the spiritual successor maybe to the 1996 film Twister. Then we're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine, the 3rd installment of the Deadpool saga, if you can call it such. We'll do our guilty pleasures, which this week is Twins edition. I'll explain that later. Then we'll do our coming attractions, and then we'll wrap it up. You guys ready? I know it's been a while. Let's get back on the horse.
Although we would be remiss that there is a 3rd movie that's saving cinema because Despicable Me 4 has very quietly made $700 million.
Well, despite your best efforts, Adam McDonald.
But you love that movie.
Oh, yeah. That's...
I remember the last episode. No, you don't.
Let's talk about a movie that isn't Despicable Me 4. It's Twisters. Before Brooks tells us what it's about, let's hear some of the trailer.
The once-in-a-generation tornado outbreak continues across Oklahoma.
We've never seen tornadoes like this before, and we need your help.
No, I don't chase anymore.
Kate, we can save lives.
I'll give you 1 week.
All right, fellas. We got PhDs from NASA, FEMA, and Kate, she's the smartest person I know.
Hey, dudes. This has been interesting. Who are they?
It's Tyler Owens. Calls himself a tornado wrangler.
If you feel it!
Okay, Brooks, take us through Twisters.
So it's surprisingly pretty simple. Kate, played by Daisy Edgar Jones, is in Oklahoma. She wants to get a grant. She gets her whole team killed. And so 5 years later, the only surviving member comes back to hunt her down, to bring her home, to try to see if they can finally test her theory on whether you can displace a tornado.
I want to ask you first, Brooks, because I'm really curious what you think about what I said in the intro, which is that this movie is perhaps the spiritual successor to the 1996 movie.
Oh, it's a
Twister.
direct sequel.
It's a direct sequel in that it's obviously connected, but there isn't much in either story that sort of continues from one film to the other. But do you think they pull it off? Does this movie adequately pick up the baton from the first one?
I think for the most part it does. I mean, Kate is obviously trying to be Joe from the first movie. Everybody's trying to be a character from the first movie. Right down to the twins man, which we'll get to, I'm sure. Mr. Twins.
Don't give it away too soon.
But Glenn Powell, everybody seems to love him. I am still on the fence. He's not my favorite. He was more likable in this movie, which is always good. I didn't want to punch him as many times, at least after about an hour anyway. Because you are supposed to dislike him at the beginning, a little bit.
How about you, Adam? What do you think? Does this movie do the first one justice? I know it's its own thing, but there's no way not to have them linked.
Right. And the links are very, very small. In fact, we'll just say it right here. The big one you see is in the first couple minutes when they have the little like sensor balls with like the little propellers on them. That's really its only tenuous connection to the first one. And I liked the fact that they didn't do the whole nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Hey, nostalgia. Let's like Jurassic World, for instance. It was be like, hey, look, we're referencing Jurassic Park. Look how clever we are. And I love the fact that it didn't do that. Basically, it is just the original movie with a coat of paint on it. It just, instead of trying to put sensors up the tornado, they're trying to destroy the tornado. So it is what it is, but it's fun. And it's the exact definition of a summer popcorn movie that you can kind of turn your brain off, but you don't have to go all the way stupid with it. You can just kind of sit there and take it in.
Well, I want to respond to a couple things you just said, Adam. First is you said nudge, nudge, wink, wink. There's going to be plenty of that later in the show. So I think you do have to go all the way stupid with this particular movie. I texted both of you after I saw it, and I think you were surprised at how little I enjoyed the experience. Now, let me say why. The effects are very good. The tornadoes themselves are frightening. It's thrilling to be that close to them. I enjoyed that part of this very much. But that's about it, because I thought this script, I told you when I texted you, this script was written by a belt buckle, not a person.
Which is
And
fitting.
yeah, and I couldn't imagine these actors, some of them very good. I couldn't imagine them saying these terrible, ridiculous, cliched lines without laughing. I imagine that this film took twice as long to shoot as it needed to because they had to stop for laughing. Because,
Can't wait to see the outtakes.
well,
Yes.
there's just so many groaner lines. I couldn't listen to them. I couldn't imagine how they were actually saying them. I felt about this similar to the way that I felt about what we call God Kong, right?
Mhm.
The Godzilla King
Ah.
Kong team up, that the people made that movie much less good than it could have and should have been. I just found myself cringing for 2 hours. Now, here's your chance finally to disagree with me, Brooks. Where am I wrong?
Not completely. I mean, you also have to consider the fact that the first one was written by, or co-written at least, by Michael Crichton. And I mean, if there's one thing he is good at is delivering at least interesting characters.
Totally.
And that movie was apparently very rewritten on the go because it was very scientific. It was like listening to a meteorologist talk for 2 hours. And they were like, this doesn't work. And so they were kind of rewriting the dialogue and stuff on the fly. So at the same time, maybe we owe more debt to Helen Hunt and the magnificent Bill Paxton than the script.
You might be right that my problem is with the actors more than the script, but I do feel like the lines these actors were asked to say were, as I previously stated, atrocious.
They're the
It's
lines you'd expect in this movie, though.
I expect better, and you just told me why I should, because this kind of thing can be done better.
Because it's been done before.
Yes, it's almost like
Literally.
the direction they were given was everyone sound like they work in a rodeo gift shop. Go. I don't think they were given much more than that. And the director, I think it's Lee Isaac Chung, right? That's who
Yes.
directed this.
The
He did-
Minari.
He did Minari, which was one of the most celebrated films of the last 10 years. And I don't mind a director moving from one project to something very different. I actually enjoy that. I like
It
to see
happens
them
a lot
stretch.
these
It
days.
does.
Mhm.
And I like to see them stretch themselves. But I don't know how you leave your integrity on the floor the way he did with this one.
Ka-ching.
I guess. What do you think, Adam?
Well, first of all, I do want to remind everyone that this was written by the same guy who brought us The Revenant.
Mhm.
So we know he can do good stuff. Again, it was a stupid movie. I had fun with it. Obviously, not as good as Minari. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Minari when it came out, but
Right.
it was
But in
also,
comparison.
also a different, type of film.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think honestly, it comes down to what was the size of that dump truck full of money
Mhm.
that was dumped on all of their front lawns to be a part of this movie. Because yeah, I fully agree with you that these are paper thin characters. The script is horrible, but I wanted to go into it because I wanted to see tornadoes kill people. It's like with the Godzilla Kong thing. We want to see monsters punch each other.
I was very shocked at the amount of carnage they put in this thing.
They show you quite a bit in the trailer, actually, and that's half of it. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of carnage. The disaster aspects of this movie, which I realize is its point,
Yeah.
I thought were very good. Like I said, the FX were excellent. The sound design was really good. I just couldn't make my peace with what I was hearing from the mouths of the people. Yes, Minari, maybe not the greatest thing, but it was a piece of art. This was a piece of bacon at best. It's just
Everyone
not-
loves bacon.
It's tasty.
Oh my goodness.
There's always room for bacon.
What did you guys think about the effects? I mean, do you agree with me that the effects were top notch?
Most of them, yeah. I mean, there were some times where I think it's just they couldn't decide where to spend their money, I think, at times. And so it kind of went back and forth depending on what scene it was in, on how good it looked. And I'll be honest, I may have pulled one of the little tricks our fellow colleagues used to do. Well,
What's
he's
that?
no longer a colleague anymore. I may have fallen asleep at the end. Which again, it wasn't the movie's fault. It wasn't the movie's fault.
Oh,
It was really warm in there. I got hot. It was a recliner.
So yeah, really fast. That's been a theme this year about movie theaters being overly hot.
yes.
Like when I went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine the second time, like the theater was boiling, and I don't understand why.
I think a good, well-written, well-acted script, Brooks, would have kept you awake, and I stand by
it did. It did until they got inside their movie theater.
Yes, yes.
Ironic.
A little on the nose, but
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
That is
All right.
when it happened, though.
Speaking of the actors, you mentioned Glenn Powell before. Daisy Edgar Jones, people are going to remember her in the US from Where the Crawdads Sing. I thought she was very good in that film, actually. But there's no question that the it person on this cast is Glenn Powell. He is everywhere right now. John Oliver had a great joke about him recently where he predicted an inevitable remake of Field of Dreams starring him, which I thought was a absolutely perfect future reference. What do you guys think of Glenn Powell? I haven't seen him challenged in a way that makes me feel like I have a strong enough opinion. I just think that he's been given crap and he does what he can with it. But I'm just wondering if there's real leading man potential there. Adam, what do you think?
Well, I would say you've been talking about the script so much, but for me, the biggest travesty of this movie was they put him in a white undershirt walking through the rain and then didn't bother to show it to you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's just kind of there. Like he's, hunky leading man type dude. And as far as acting goes, like he's okay, but he has, like you said, he hasn't had much to work with. I mean, I think he's on Scream Queens. He's always been like the himbo type dude.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, he was in that.
yeah, he was in Sex Ed, which was actually a fantastic show that more people should watch. It's already over now. But I mean, I think everyone kind of really got to know him from Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah. And
that's
that was
kind of where he got to start.
That was a better script than this. And and he did well with it.
Shockingly.
Well, I mean, he was playing a type, certainly a type that that he seems built in a lab to play, but he did a lot with that material. I just don't think we've seen him challenged enough. I'm not sure a more seasoned, a more proven leading man could have saved this script. So I'm not sure that the jury, for me, is in yet on Glenn Powell, but Brooks, you seem to have stronger opinions about him.
Well, it's like you said, he was built in a lab, apparently. He's usually snarky and smarmy and smirky, and you want to punch him. And I guess that's what people want. So they can have him because I don't care.
I'm going to withhold judgment. I want to see him challenged.
Yeah.
I want to see him do something out of this comfort zone that's being built for him right now, which I don't think is serving him well.
Not after this movie. It's just going to keep on going now.
Well, let's skip to scores. I want to make sure we leave a lot of time for Deadpool and Wolverine. So, Adam, what do you score Twisters?
I'm at 3 stars. I think I liked it a little bit more when I came out of it, just because it was cool to be in that surround sound loud theater where you're being like pushed against your seat by the winds. And there's a couple scenes that were like, I was scooching back in my seat because I was like, how are they going to get out of this? But it's a summer popcorn movie. Turn your brain off, maybe more than I thought you would, but it is what it is. It's not going to win awards. It's just there to make money and make people be nostalgic for the first one.
Brooks?
I'm going to go with 3 as well. It's nowhere near the original, but it serves its purpose. It's summer popcorn at its dumbest, and that's all we can get out of it, which is fine. So as long as people expect that, and I'm sure by now they've received that, then they should be okay with that too.
I think those are 2 of the most apologetic 3-star ratings I've ever heard in my life. Because for me, the popcorn is stale and there's a dead mouse in it. It doesn't do the original justice. It doesn't even do itself justice. It doesn't keep the promise it makes. I'm at 1 star. I didn't like this at all. Adam, where are you on Twisters?
3 stars.
Brooks?
I'm giving it 3 comfort food stars.
I'm giving it 1 star. It was not for me. When we come back, we're going to switch gears and talk about Deadpool and Wolverine before Adam takes us through a very brief and unspoilery synopsis, we hope. Let's listen to some of the trailer.
Life is a mystery.
I don't know anything about saving worlds, but you do.
Trust me, kid, I'm no hero. You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man.
Okay, Adam, walk this tightrope.
All right, so Deadpool and Wolverine stars Ryan Reynolds again as Deadpool, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. At the end of the second movie, we know that Deadpool went and changed the timeline. Well, now he discovers that something's going to go wrong with his timeline, and in order to save his friends, family, and everyone else, he has to find a version of Wolverine to team up with him and save the universe.
I have to say right now that we're going to try really hard not to spoil things. It's not going to be easy, but I'll apologize in advance if we let a couple things slip, because this movie is so much about references and so meta that it's going to be difficult to talk about it without a couple of things getting past the goalie. That being said, the first question I want to ask you, Brooks, is what kind of Marvel literacy does a person need to have to walk into this film experience?
I mean, as far as it goes, I would definitely say there's a lot of Fox references from their heyday. Cassandra Nova, there's a lot of good references to New X-Men, which introduced her. There's some stuff that's taken directly out of there, which was awesome for me since I just read it right before, like weeks before the screening. And Loki. You need to have seen all of Loki for a lot of it to make any sense.
Would you add anything to that, Adam?
Obviously the first Deadpool movies.
Well, yeah.
And if you could possibly have also seen like Logan, that's also kind of important because there's a lot of throwbacks to that.
All of the X-Men films. I think those
Yeah.
are important
Yeah.
homework too. Yeah.
As far as, but actual required viewing, parts of Loki, at least season 1. But again, they do kind of sum things up pretty quickly. So if you were, I'd never seen Loki and you're like, what is this? You could have your friend just lean over and like in 2 seconds explain it to you. So
As long as it's us.
as long, yeah, one of us or something like that. But it's not one of those Marvel movies where you have to go in and watch 30 different seasons of a show and 10 movies to understand what's going on.
Which may be the biggest shocker.
I disagree a little bit. I think this movie is so rich with references and callbacks and Easter eggs and meta moments that if you don't do the homework that the two of you just laid out, I think that a lot of the jokes are going to fall flat for you. And I would add to the list that the two of you just made all of the pre-MCU Marvel films. So before Iron Man, there were a few of those. We'll get to that later as close as we can without giving things away. But understanding Marvel movies, even the ones that predate the MCU, is also going to be helpful. Now, can you walk into this movie with zero Marvel literacy and have a good time? I think so, because it's punchy, it's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is
Deadpool.
great. I mean, Hugh Jackman, it may be one of his best Wolverine performances ever. He is so on. But I do think there's so much winking and nudging, as Adam said before, that it helps to come in prepared. I felt like this movie earned its R rating in a way that even previous Deadpool movies haven't. This one is very much an R-rated film. So if your kids want to see this, make sure they're at least in high school, because there's a lot to it in terms of its raunchiness.
And that was actually one thing I had a small problem with. Not that it wasn't funny. Don't get me wrong. In fact, there's a certain character who goes on an expletive-laden rant. That is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
That's in the post-credit scenes.
The post-credit scene, yeah.
Stick around.
So stick around for that, yeah.
Well, they actually do it twice.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
But I think the one thing that kind of stuck out for me with that was it was almost as if they're like, hey, let's see how much stuff we can throw in here just to prove that Marvel and Disney can be naughty. And they put more stuff than they were expecting to. And then Disney was like, sure, go with it. And they're like, oh, we didn't think you were going to say yes. So, yeah. So I think it can be a little heavy-handed with the potty humor, which I love potty humor. Don't get me wrong. But it's kind of like when that... it's like when like a 6-year-old or 7-year-old learns how to swear and doesn't know how to do it properly. It's still funny, but after about 10 minutes, it's not quite as funny.
I live with one, and let me tell you, it's always funny.
Well, I mean, Brooks.
Sorry, it's true. It's always funny.
Adam is right, Brooks, about how much R-rated stuff was packed into this 2 hours. I think there was too much of everything packed into this 2 hours. Well, let me finish. If someone said to me, you can't just love everything Marvel does, Jeff. Have a critique. Have some kind of critique. My one would be that this movie felt like Ryan Reynolds was turned completely loose. No guardrails, no restrictions. Do whatever you want. And I found, and like I said, this is me really nitpicking here because I had so much fun with this, but I found the constant looking at the camera, the constant fourth wall breaking, the constant references, the constant sarcasm. And I realized that's his character. I get it.
I'm like, someone's never read the comic books.
I know that it's required of this character, and certainly required of Ryan Reynolds' version of him to do that. But I found it a little bit exhausting. You don't agree. I can see it on your face, Brooks.
I don't. That's what and who Deadpool is full. This is like the first two movies. This took Deadpool and they cranked the character to 11 where he should be. So for me, everything worked. The raunchier, the grosser, the naughtier, just the more meta it got, just tickled me pink, for lack of better words.
Yeah, and like the observation about hey, there was just too much thrown in there, that was after the fact of seeing the movie, and it was actually even more after the second time I saw it, which we'll get to it later. Because I was enjoying myself.
I mentioned cameos before, and I mentioned paying attention to Marvel properties that existed before the MCU started. I don't want to give away what actually happens, but what did you guys think of some of the old school cameos that happened in this film? I found them to be delightful. It makes me very excited for future things in the MCU. But Brooks, what was your take on how those cameos were used?
Oh, I'm right there with you. Everything was exactly how it should be. And they even managed to, like you said, you need to have a certain level of literacy to go into this movie. There's even a lot of off-screen shenanigans that will probably go over your head. There's jokes about the feud between Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes in the movie, and
Right.
a lot of people aren't going to get that.
Let's hope that tiny spoiler doesn't upset anybody. But yeah,
If you go to the homepage of YouTube, you're going to see
you're
probably
definitely gonna
every
see it.
spoiler in the movie.
And
So
it's
we
2
can
weeks,
let
so.
one go.
Okay, Brooks, that's your one. Don't try it again.
I got one. Yep.
Adam, what do you think about the cameos?
Oh, they were perfect. There wasn't one that was wasted, and in fact, there was even some when it showed up that it was critics only, and then your plus ones that even had grouchy curmudgeons cheering about like, because there's one that I'm not going to say anything about it, but it's so deep that it doesn't even exist in the Marvel universe. Like, and I think you guys both know what I'm talking about. And when the moment you have that, when that pops up, you're like, oh crap, like they did this. Like that was, it was just so wonderful. And then you get someone like, again, saying some really, really horrible things, but you almost need subtitles to understand it because there's a really heavy accent. And I think that's all go into saying.
Well, I will say, related to what you're talking about, and in the interest of keeping the continuity of Big Movie Mouth Off secure, there was a reference with regards to that particular character to a minion, Adam. And that's one of the moments in the movie that I laughed loudest. So there you go. There's your Despicable Me 4 reference in Deadpool and Wolverine.
As close as it'll get.
Since you two know so much more about Marvel as a whole than I do, what do you think this film does for the MCU in terms of where it's going? What might happen because of this film's plot?
You want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
I don't think anything.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing whatsoever. Because this is not his intro to the MCU. This is goodbye to the Fox years.
Mhm.
This is an homage to all this
This
come
is a
before.
farewell.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's no purposeful tie in the MCU. Now there is some stuff with like the Loki and the TVA and things, but it does nothing to move the story of the MCU forward.
That was just the way for them to bring in the MCU.
But
basically.
you don't think it's signaling a future inclusion of Fantastic Four and X-Men and all those things? You don't think it's opening the door, at least a crack for that?
No.
I don't.
No, because we've already got X-Men in the MCU. We've already had mutants. We know the Fantastic Four is coming, and they're doing like a period piece, which is what they should be doing, and then probably jump to the future. So this was just like, hey, here's our last hurrah for all the old movies. Deadpool's now in the MCU, and he can play with that sandbox.
Yeah, basically this was like, we're done with Fox completely.
Oh, he makes that extremely clear.
Exactly.
As many times as he possibly can. One of the things I loved most about this film and what I love most about the Deadpool films is that the R rating allows them to do stuff with the fight choreography that you just never get in the Avengers movies. Those are they're not a little bit, they're a lot more PG, the fighting in those films. But the gore level, the hilarious violence that happens, particularly
It's a cartoon.
in two moments, the opening sequence,
Yep.
the in sync sequence,
And the train,
that's just one of the greatest things, and then the bus sequence at the end.
I mean, yeah, it's Mortal Kombat.
That's
Very
a
reminiscent of that. Yeah.
That's totally true.
And that might play into something coming up later on in the episode as well. But no, it's meant to be over the top and stupid. And what's really interesting actually is when Deadpool came out in the comics, he wasn't violent. It was when like Deadpool Max came out and got further along, they started adding in more of like the adult humor and the violence. But yeah, the opening sequence especially, it's over the top and stupid. And there was even one scene where I was like, oh my God. Like,
so many.
But it also did what I love. There's two things those scenes did that I love. So the first one has the thing where they're announcing the people who made the film on objects on the screen. So like his sword flashes out and it's like directed by blah, blah, blah. What Edgar Wright did in Baby Driver. I'm a sucker for that. Yeah. And then also for the final battle in the bus, a lot of that is like a one shot take. Again, something like you put that in a movie and I will just fall head over heels in love with it because those are my things. So
Adam loves creative credits and wonders. Let's keep that in
Yes,
mind.
there we go.
Those are two ways to
And
his
one
heart.
takes.
And you said over the top and stupid, Adam. Are you saying it's possible that something can be over the top and stupid and still be good? Interesting.
Always.
always.
There's
Interesting.
always the chance.
I refer you back to your 3-star score on Twisters, and I call nonsense on that. Brooks, what do you think about the violence in this film? Was it fun or too much?
Oh, it's so fun. And it's all done for laughs. I mean, none of it, I don't think any of it was done with any kind of like maliciousness to it. Every single moment was meant as a joke. And I think that helps. And it managed to probably keep it in the movie because we know how the MPA can be. Although we know they also don't care about violence. So
No, they
At least
care about
not when
any
it's-
kind of
not when it's
sex.
funny. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, one of the things I said at the beginning that you both nodded when I said it, but I want to hear your thoughts, is that I think this is Hugh Jackman's best Wolverine. I think he is so fully invested in this role. It may be the last time he does it. There's a million jokes about there's no way it will be. What did you think of his reprisal as the character that really has defined his career?
I love that he managed to find another way to give us another version
Exactly.
of Logan.
I couldn't agree more. That's
And it's incredible that he can take one character and just play it so many different ways. And the fact that he does that so many times through this movie also just kind of adds to that. I mean, but again, it's Hugh Jackman. We know who he is now. I mean, when he was cast as Wolverine originally, I think we were all just blown away by how good he was. But then now he is Wolverine. So he can play it no matter what the circumstances or storyline.
I'm sure he is super tired of getting in Wolverine shape, though, at his age. I'm sure he's very tired of that. Adam, do you agree with us?
Mostly, yes. So I will say that his performance in Logan was his best performance as Wolverine, but I think this is his best representation of Wolverine because this really does feel like gnarled, grizzly Wolverine who's, gone through the ringer and is trying to make up for it and really can't.
I totally agree with you because I actually don't think of him as Wolverine in Logan. He's Logan. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
This is like a pure Wolverine performance, and I think it's
Yeah.
the best of those. So I completely agree with you, Adam. I think that Logan performance, in terms of Hugh Jackman's career, stands out. It goes on a shelf by
Such a
itself.
standalone, yeah.
Yeah, nothing can touch it. But if the times when he's in the costume doing the Wolverine thing, I don't think he's ever done it better than this. I really
In
don't.
full costume.
Yeah. All right, let's score this. I think it's interesting that a script that someone cares about, performed by good actors, can elevate the most ridiculous material. And I once again refer back to your two over-the-top 3-star scores for Twisters. I'm going to keep doing that the entire episode. Sorry.
Do I need to start talk about Ghost Story?
No, you don't need to talk about Ghost Story. That'll
I'll
come
bring
up.
the pie.
Ghost Story will come up in the next UFCA meeting, as it does every UFCA meeting.
Yeah.
I've been having to eat that pie for years, and I think it's going to continue. So, all right, I'm going to go first. Love the movie. Had so much fun. The only slight nit that I could find with it is that it's a little exhausting. It's a lot of references. It's a lot of meta. And I would have enjoyed maybe a little bit more judicious use of that particular device, even though I fully understand that that's what these movies are. For me, rock solid 3-star movie. I had such a blast with it. I can't wait to see it a second time. So Adam, before you give your score, why don't you talk about having seen it a second time and how that maybe has influenced your score?
So that is a very, very important thing to talk about because the first time you're so wrapped up in everything and you're so surprised by the Easter eggs and cameos and all the fun you're having. It's the second time that facade kind of fades away and you kind of see more of the bare bones of the movie and you realize it's not quite as good as you thought it was. You were just, and don't get me wrong, it's fun. But I noticed the second time the jokes didn't hit as hard. The plot was a little bit more messed up. You really, really notice more of the villain problem. Always
Bad
does.
villain.
There always is.
So yeah, I'm interested to see what all of you think on second and repeat viewings because the shininess really wears off quickly. Now that being said, am I going to buy whatever stupid special edition steelbook version comes out in 4K? Oh, I'll pre-order it now if I find it because I did love it a lot. But that second viewing really does bring it down a notch. So I'm with you at a 3. I probably would have said a 3.5 right after I saw it, but the luster's faded a little bit. So
Brooks?
All right, I'll be the only 4-star rating. I can take it. I don't care. This is the kind of movie that just douses my hyperfixation in gasoline and lights it on fire. And I love it. I live for meta. I can't help it. We all know how much I love the Scream movies. And I ate it up. All of the references to the comic books, the movies,
What would your score have been if Glenn Powell were in this movie?
probably 2. Actually, this would have been the movie that proved him.
Exactly.
Maybe.
I'm waiting for the thing. We haven't seen the thing that shows us what he can do yet. Okay. Scores for Deadpool. I had a 3. Adam?
3.
Brooks?
4 claws up.
For what?
Claws.
Claws.
God.
I thought you said closet and I didn't understand, but yeah. All right. So we clearly like that one. You got to go see it. And it sounds like you should probably see it twice to get the full experience. When we come back, we're going to do our guilty pleasures. I mentioned at the beginning that it's Twins edition, and here's why. If you've seen the trailer for Twisters, you know there's a very important moment where this storm breaks into 2 tornadoes, and the guy in Glenn Powell's truck screams twins at the top of his lungs. It's the most memorable part of the trailer. Maybe the most memorable line in the entire script for me. So we're going to do Twins Edition. This is movies that have prominent twins in them. We'll get to that right after this break. And we're back on Big Movie Mouth Off. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Guilty Pleasures, Twins Edition. Movies with twins in them. Brooks, you're up first.
All right. Well, mine might be considered pretty bad, but it's from 1998 and it's called Big Business.
What? I don't even know.
I've
this.
never heard of that.
What is
What?
this?
With Bette Midler and Lily Tomlin playing 2 sets of twins that get displaced at birth?
I've honestly never heard of this movie.
What?
No.
Even Seth Green's in this movie. He's probably 12, but he's in it.
It sounds bad, is it?
It's Jim Abrams. I don't know. I think it's Abrams. What part of the ZAZ crew, Airplane and all of that, Naked Gun. But yeah, it's a solo effort from him, and it's just nothing but shenanigans. Got Lily Tomlin, because that's how they switch. There's 2 Lily Tomlins and 2 Bette Midlers, but the Lily Tomlin and Bette Midler are each sets of twins. So,
Also, Seth Green is not aging well.
by the way,
We'll use this movie as a reference point for that, apparently. All right. So what's it called again, Brooks?
Big Business.
From 98, you said.
88.
88. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to jump forward a couple of years, 4 years exactly. And my movie also deals with the twins separated at birth scenario. And I'm talking about from his Hong Kong days, Jackie Chan's Twin Dragons.
Oh.
Here's why this movie is a guilty pleasure for me. If you know me, you know that my day job is in classical music. So movies about pianists or conductors are really difficult for me. This movie is about Jackie Chan being separated at birth from his twin. One grows up to be a thug in Hong Kong, and the other grows up to be a concert pianist and conductor in New York City. And the music stuff is just god-awful. But it's got all of that great, super tight Charlie Chaplin choreography with the fighting. It's so much fun. Jackie Chan, it doesn't matter how bad the script is. There's just something so infectious about him that he elevates things. Now, this movie is bad. The music stuff's terrible. The plot's super dumb. But I love it because I love Jackie Chan. Only Jackie Chan could make a music movie that I didn't hate. Twin Dragons is better than Tar. I stand by it.
I would believe you. I couldn't get through Tar, so
Yeah, well, don't bother. 1992, Twin Dragons, Jackie Chan from his Hong Kong days. Adam, did either of us
No.
pick yours? Okay.
No,
I
you
didn't think we did.
And actually, as a reference, so in July, Barnes & Noble puts all their Criterion releases on half off, and I actually did pick up Police Story 1 and 2 in a 2-pack
Excellent.
from them.
In
So that was
4K?
one of my I don't know if it's 4K or not. I have to look.
I have a 4K pack with all 3.
Oh, okay. So Brooks, this isn't the one I picked. Brooks called me out though because I should have done Dix the Musical.
I
That's what I
for
thought you
sure
were gonna do.
Me too.
So, but I didn't think about it until I already settled on mine. So I went with Euro Trip.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah.
It's
So
a
Scotty
stupid
doesn't
movie.
know.
And exactly, it's worth it just for the existence of Scotty doesn't know. But and the twins, they're a guy and a girl, and there's a wonderful scene when they're at a party or they're drunk or something and they make out, and then that's just the running gag for the rest of the movie. So that one, and then the dominatrix scene was absolutely fantastic. It's dumb as all get out. Like, this is no way anywhere near high art. It's not even low art. It just exists as a meme. But I love it dearly, and I remember I watched this thing countless times when it came out.
It's
so.
way better than Road Trip.
Yes, I will agree with that.
I think it's a shame that you two didn't pick what is clearly your guiltiest of pleasures, Twisters. I think it's a shame. All right, so guilty pleasures. Brooks, what's yours?
Big Business.
Mine was Twin Dragons. And Adam?
Euro Trip.
All right, well, take yourself down those 3 memory lanes if you want to laugh. When we come back for our last segment, we'll do our coming attractions. Give us one more break. We'll be right back with you. Welcome back to the last segment on episode 22 of Big Movie Mouth Off, coming attractions, things we are excited about. I'll lead this off. I'm going to go to the world of television because I have recently become absolutely addicted to the show Slow Horses, starring Gary Oldman as a rumpled, terrible person who is running kind of a down and out division of MI5, but solving all of the big spy mysteries for the real people at the top levels of that institution. It's so good. It's so well written, so well cast. 3 seasons are in the books, and the 4th season comes out in October, and I could not be more excited. I finished the 3rd season just this week because I've just been in binge mode, and I was so mad that the 4th season wasn't ready to drop because I want more. So mine is Slow Horses. Adam, what are you looking forward to?
Well, actually, I want to watch that now because I'd never even heard of it until you brought it up.
I mean, Gary Oldman. What else do you need to know?
Gary Oldman and Spies and MI5.
Yep.
So mine is actually, I'm going on a video game this week, and it's actually one that Brooks is interested in. It is the expansion DLC for Mortal Kombat 1 called Chaos Reigns. So it picks up where the last one left off. Havoc, who is a well-known character from some of the previous games, comes back to, I think, Earthrealm and then causes problems. And we get to see like Sector and all those other Cyrax, like their origin stories and their gender bent in this one. So that's kind of cool. But what's the best part is one of the DLC characters, like there's like, you can be the T-1000 from Terminator 2. But the most important one for Brooks is that you can play as Ghostface.
You can be Ghostface. Right. I saw it.
So it comes out. Yeah. So it comes out next month, but I love anything Mortal Kombat. And I think it was funny we brought it up earlier. So I already pre-ordered it and I'm eagerly awaiting to download and play through the story mode.
Adam, I read that this game is like 50% cutscenes. Like it's a lot of cutscenes. Is that one of the things you like about the new reboot?
When you do the stories mode, yeah, it is. Actually, I was going to show Clark the stories because they kind of rebooted it with 9. And so you got 9, 10, 11, and 1. I was going to show him the video on YouTube. It's like a 12-hour video of just the cutscenes.
Totally.
So it definitely goes a lot more cinematic. They got to kind of reboot and redo things, especially after Mortal Kombat 11. So again, over the top, violent, and stupid, but they actually did a pretty good job with putting a fun plot together. And I'm really excited to see these new takes on these characters that we've known for 30 years now.
Brooks, what's your coming attraction?
I actually stumbled upon mine last night, I think. Is that when I texted you, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I don't know if it's St. Denis Medical or St. Denis, but it's a mockumentary styled sitcom set in a hospital created by Bill Lawrence. It's got David Alan Grier and Wendy McClendon Covey, Allison Tolman. It looks hysterical.
It's a film or a series?
It's a series.
Okay.
Yeah. The guy one of the nurses goes to stab someone with an EpiPen and he accidentally stabs his thumb because, it's the wrong way. I'm in.
Well, 2 TV shows and a video game. I'm looking forward to Slow Horses season 4, which should drop in early October. It's on Apple Plus. Adam?
Mortal Kombat 1, Chaos with a K, Reigns.
And Brooks?
Saint Something Medical, premiering in November on NBC.
NBC. All right. Well, that's going to do it for episode 22. I want to thank you guys again for being so patient with me. Summers are hard, but luckily for all of you movie lovers out there, you don't have to wait for me. There's tons of stuff dropping these next
Times
few
are easy
weeks,
for
so
you.
Times
For
are
them.
real easy. I didn't notice any reshoots in the last episode, so we're going to let that lie. I'm sure there's 20 in this one that we'll have to pick up later, but that's half the fun.
I don't think so.
I don't think I heard anything.
We only had one spoiler, so
Yeah.
Only
And
one
we could
spoiler.
bleep it if we wanted to.
No, we're not bleeping it. Only one spoiler. And
Yeah.
just for the record, it was Brooks.
One and done.
It was
That
Brooks.
was- Are we surprised? I was a
was not-
little excited.
It was not me and it was not Adam. As far as I'm concerned, the scores for Twisters were completely untrustworthy and we need to do an audit of our entire system. But the scores for Deadpool Wolverine were right on the money. That's the one you should see of these two. I'm sure you both agree with me on that.
hey, it could
If
be
you haven't
worse.
seen it, go again.
None of us said Twisters will blow you away.
Oh,
Well, you just did.
Yeah, I
should've-
know, but I told everyone if any one of
I
our
know.
peers say that, I am personally kicking them out of the UFCA.
well, I
There was one very atrociously written Facebook post. So
I should have stopped this show about 15 seconds ago so Adam couldn't say that. It's been great to be back in the saddle with you guys. 2 fun movies to talk about. I will say that. Until next time, when we come back and talk about more summer fun, I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Thank you so much for being with us. Big Movie Mouth Off was produced and edited by me, Jeff Counts, and co-hosted by Adam McDonald and Brooks Bird. Our theme music is written by Brian Z. Richards, and this show is dedicated to the memory of our founders, Jeff Michael Weiss and my partner in crime for over 5 years, the incomparable Jimmy Martin.